All right. Welcome to Chess with Jordan. I get to play a Team League game today. It's been a while since I've been doing this. I actually threw this together uh, last night, so hopefully the stream works well. We'll see what happens here. Um, yeah, it's been a while since I played. My son actually is playing in the Team League with me this season, so that's kind of why I'm back in here. I haven't played chess in a little while here, a little sporadically. So we'll see how it goes. Got to dust off a little bit. I'm playing a player who's actually sounds like he's a pretty strong player here. We'll send him a challenge here in a minute. He looks like he knows how to play. He's got 2200 bullet, 2000 blitz, 21 rapid. So he knows how to move pawns. I have to be careful of my en passanting here. He looks like he's a pretty decent player here. So let's go ahead and do a challenge here. Let's see. Okay, well, we have a few minutes probably till the game begins. Go ahead and send him a challenge. Let's see, we're gonna make it rated. I'm gonna play white. Nope, that's not what I wanted. Let's try that again. I am so used to playing on my phone. This is gonna be interesting playing on a computer. I'm definitely used to. There we go. Oh, I don't know. So let's see, we can challenge to a game. We're gonna make this real time. Rated 45. So we have 45 minutes starting each side, and every move we get 45 seconds added to the clock. So the game can be 2-3 hours long, sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less. Really depends on the players. And I play white. Okay, so we'll send him a challenge here. So it's been a little while here, but oh, here we go. He accepted it right away. Awesome. Well, let's go ahead and give him the good luck, good game formalities here. Choose to a good game. All right, so I'm gonna open up with e4, and we'll see what he ends up playing. Looks like the stream, yep, everything's going well. All right, okay, we get an Alekhine defense. All right, interesting. Okay, so usually in the Alekhine's defense, we push the pawn to attack the knight. We'll probably just go ahead and play into that. I used to play the Alekhine defense years ago, so I'm vaguely familiar with some of those lines from years of playing it, but I don't play with it on the white side very much, so this is going to be a little interesting. All right, this is a common move here, like totally standard, and I believe we're just going to push the pawn here. I think I'm just going to use the central control and see how we're going to go. Well, we'll go ahead and play it. All right, so usually in this position, black is going to play this move here, start challenging white center right away. Other options I could have played was c4 right away to kick the knight again, but I'm playing this way here first to see kind of how he's going to play it. I don't want to give away too much right away, and while chasing the knight is totally fine, it's standard. I'd rather not play chasing the knight if I can help it, depending on how he plays this. I'm not sure what lines he does. Okay, so he does play the typical line where he's going to challenge us here. All right, well, not surprising. So now the option, this is probably normal, is to kick the knight here and then capture this pawn, and then what we'll be left with is two central pawns. And usually the knight is going to go over this square. So if I play here, the knight's going to go there, then I'll capture here. It depends on how black wants to capture that pawn. I'm not sure which way he prefers capturing it. You can capture this way, which I believe is the normal line, but I've used to capture this way because I like to have two central pawns if I can. So I don't know which way he plays it. Other move I could do is just pop the knight over here. I don't like that right away because then the bishop's just going to pin, and I don't want to walk into pins right away in this position here, especially when there's some tension on e5. So I think we're just going to go ahead and play this normal c4 move and see how it goes here. Yep, so the knight's going to go here. So he's kind of eyeing this pawn. My bishop is protecting it though, so I'm okay with that. And I have decent development here. If I get rid of the tension on this pawn here, I should be able to develop normally. So I'm probably just going to end up doing that. The other move I could play is this and just try to hold on to this e4 point, but there's really less reason to try to hold on here because this knight is not going to be developing on this square. You know, if I was trying to prevent a knight from developing here, I might be more inclined to push this pawn here, but the knight's already way over here. I'm not really going to do much by holding on to this square. And I certainly don't want to just start pushing all my pawns forward. That's kind of like what the Alekhine defense is about, is trying to get white to push all of his pawns early on and then just start attacking them. So I don't really want to do that. So instead of doing that, I think I'm just going to capture here, and then I'll play something like the knight out or something like that and just develop more normally. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and do that. And then we'll see which way he ends up capturing. I think capturing with the e-pawn is main line. Yep, and he does. The other option would be capturing the c, which I had done in the past when I played Alekhine. Okay, so now I have a lot of options here. So I can move the knight out here, but again, that kind of just walks into a pin. I'm not really too keen on walking into pins like that, and I don't really need to worry about defending this pawn right now. Sorry, defended by the queen. Nothing's attacking it, so there's really no point in that. This is kind of my go-to move right now. Since that pawn's up there, I don't have to worry about it being pinned right away, and it kind of just develops a piece and kind of waits for him to see how he's going to do his development here. Bishop doesn't have a good square right now that I really want to put it to. It can't go over here because that would just be captured by the queen, and that would be a really quick game. And I really don't need it to be on any of these squares, and I don't see the point of the bishop being on here right now. It would kind of just be hanging out on its own, doing not a whole lot. So I think I'm just going to end up playing the knight here and just develop some and maybe put a little more influence on these squares and wait to see how black proceeds to develop stuff. So if I can, most likely he's going to pull his knight up here would be my guess. Some players play this move and try to fianchetto, so I'll be interested to see how he plays that. Okay, so he absolutely does not. Okay, cool. All right, so he's playing kind of normal. He's going to castle quick and he's going to try to attack the open file first, is what it's looking like here. So because he's going to do that, I have the option of playing the bishop here and then playing my knight. Or I could play my knight, he lays his bishop. But I kind of want to give him, more to think about. If I just pull my knight up here, he's probably just going to throw his bishop here right away. If I play my bishop here, we're kind of delaying his ability to play the light squared bishop a little bit, which is probably better for me. So I think I'm just going to slow walk this a little bit here, and I'm going to play my bishop here. And then my guess is he's either going to pull his knight up here, or he's going to straight castle, try to get his rook on the e file and start pressuring this open file right away, which is probably how I would end up playing it, but we'll see how he ends up doing here. The knight is always eyeing this pawn here, so I really have to be careful when I pull my knight here. If he tries to pin and take, I can't necessarily take without dropping this pawn. So there's some ideas here. One idea is I could play this move and maybe put this bishop here. And I'm liking that a little more right now just because he didn't fianchetto. So if he had pulled his bishop on this diagonal, I don't really want to weaken that as much. Okay, cool. So he already played his bishop out. So when I play my knight out, I don't necessarily need to worry about him throwing the bishop out to try to pin. So I'm okay with that idea. So now this knight move seems the most logical. Get ready for castling, put another piece in the center field, get another team member out in the game. Really don't know where I want this bishop yet. I'm starting to get an idea of maybe throwing it on this diagonal. But that'll be a few moves before I do anything with that. So I'm gonna have to think of how I want to play the move out here. I think I'm gonna play my knight out here. That seems pretty standard, pretty normal. At some point, this knight is probably going out here and starting to influence squares. The other idea is sometimes in the Alekhine, especially the way he plays bishop here, he might be targeting this square here, if I can remember how to, yeah, there we go, change colors. So that's also a possibility for him. He could probably be trying to challenge maybe later down the line, or give himself the option of challenging that later on. It'll be interesting to see how he plays this. I'm not too familiar with these. Okay, any castle. All right, so at this point, I'm basically going to castle because we're going to have a battle on this open e file of some sort. There might be other squares and things that are going to come into play, but I think the main battle will probably be on this open e file. So castling seems like a good idea to just get out of the way right away. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, not take too much time on that move. Excuse me. So in this position here, we got equal development. I got my two knights out. He has two bishops out. I have a bishop. He has a knight out. Both sides seem to have ease of development, which is nice. I have a little more central control right now, but that is typical in the Alekhine defense for white. And the Alekhine defense is kind of like hyper modern in terms of it starts attacking the center a little later on and going with the pieces. So I have my coffee here too. That's something I've changed. I don't know if people remember. I used to be a big tea drinker. I have finally got converted by my wife to drinking coffee now. So gotta have some coffee. Waking up, playing some chess in a relatively, I mean, it's like 11 o'clock night time, so it's not too early. I'm used to playing like, a lot of times I get to play people in like Europe and stuff, and so I'm playing at like 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. And yeah, can't stream at that hour at the house, but since we're playing a little later timeline, I'm like, let's stream the game and have a little fun with it. Okay, this is an interesting move. I did not expect that move to be played, so it looks like black is going to change how he wants to operate. He is going to try to push this pawn up forward. Is what it looks like to me. I don't know if he's going to try to play this knight over here first, kind of have a little knight journey, which is funny because the king knight ends up over on, if I can do square, ends up over here, and I can't draw the lines here. King knight ends up over here, and the queen knight could end up over there. That would be a little amusing, but I mean, it's the Alekhine defense, so things kind of go weird with that. All right, so my question for this position here is, what am I going to do with this bishop, and where do I want it? I mean, the logical place would probably just to throw it over here, and it's developed, and it starts eyeing this over here. Seems pretty straightforward, but I have a feeling this pawn is going to be pushing up, and then I'm not sure how much I want that bishop over here. Other move actually could be over here with the idea of essentially just kind of clogging this file here right now and super defending this pawn and just kind of waiting to see how my opponent plays this position. It's really interesting that he played this move. I really wasn't expecting that. He's almost trying to transpose this into some sort of like a Slav or something, semi-Slav or semi-Slav? I don't forget. It looks like he's trying to create a pawn chain like this, be my guess, and then this bishop is going to have more scope. Actually, I wonder if that's what he's going to do. Maybe he's going to try to play this move, and eventually this bishop is going to come here, and he's going to argue that he has really awesome active bishops compared to mine that's babysitting a pawn, and this one's yet to be developed. Maybe he's doing that, but if he plays here, then this square is certainly weak, and that could be a nice outpost for my knight, and then maybe he'd have to weaken his kingside structure to kick him out. So that's an interesting move we could play later on. The other question I have, going back to my, if I play this move and I put the bishop on here, is that worthwhile? And I'm not sure that it's worthwhile to put my bishop on this line here, because if he does play here, that means this pawn is going to be stuck and it's going to block this whole diagonal. And then I'm going to say, what's the bishop doing on b2? It's just doing nothing. So maybe I don't want to fianchetto that bishop over there. So that's something I have to question. How do I want to do that? Could also take a quick moment to make a prophylactic type move with this. And the idea being is if I play this move, it's really to control this square because I don't want the bishop coming here and pinning. And then after I play a move like this, maybe I could even put my bishop here and challenge this relatively nice bishop of his. And also open the e file for my rook. That could also be something I could do. So I'm kind of leaning maybe even just to play a quiet move. Since he played a relatively quiet move, I might just play a quiet move here, and the idea of starting to challenge some of his better pieces. So since my bishop here is worse than this bishop, moving it over here, will it improve it and challenge his good squared bishop? So I'm really kind of liking that idea. Especially since while this is probably a perfectly fine move, I don't think it's really going to do a whole lot in this position once this move is played. I don't see how this bishop is really going to be really awesome on this square at the moment. It certainly doesn't warrant moving it there right away, I don't think. Because he could always just challenge that bishop after he plays a move like this and just right away challenge it. And then it's kind of like, what's the point of putting on a 4? And I don't know where I want to put this rook yet. I'm thinking I'm going to put it down on the c file. But if the queen gets moved up here, I might throw it down on the d file too. It really kind of depends how he's playing this. You know, if he's playing here, that's fine. If he plays a move like this, that might change a little more for me. So what to do with this move? Could also play something like this, and maybe try to make this a target, and then try to make me weaken my dark squares while the dark squared bishop's still on. That's an interesting idea too. If he plays a dark squared bishop on that end, I think that could be an interesting idea of his. But I got to make a move, so I'm burning a lot of time here just rambling around on different ideas. So this idea with this seems to be a relatively straightforward plan. I'm kind of liking that idea right now. I don't have any reason to play this move yet, since the bishop's in the way, and if I play this, he could just throw it over here and pin my queen and knight, and that's kind of irritating. So yeah, I think I'm just going to go ahead and play this move, and just have a little quiet move, and wait for him to see how he's going to target operations on this line here, and then maybe I'll challenge this bishop next. Although if he plays here, he's going to have two pieces attacking. I'm going to have to figure out what I want to do with that. If I want to push it forward, make the knight maybe jump over here. Oh, that's an interesting idea. If he jumps the knight over there, what do I want to do with that? Capture or not? I'll have to wait and see how he wants to play that. Since the bishop can still come over on this line, I'm really hesitant to play this move. I really don't like playing that move. That leaves the dark diagonal super exposed. And I still have my rook over here. If my rook was on the c file, I wouldn't care as much. Yeah, so he's already lining this guy up. That is interesting here too. Okay, so now I get into the question of what am I doing? He made his bishops pretty nice. I gotta fire back on this a little bit. He also lined up his rook, ready to start attacking the e file. And assuming the knight's gonna go here, and then he'll try to, I don't know, because he put his bishop here, so the knight isn't gonna go to this square. Oop, can't do diagonals here. Arrow science. He's not pulling that here yet, so that's an interesting idea. If I play this move, we have a capture, we have a capture. If he captures. Would he capture there? I don't know. My knight is still protecting this pawn, so I can put the bishop here and block it because he can't capture that without my knight capturing. So I'm thinking I want to follow up with this move. Just attack the bishop, open up my scope of this rook when I play it down here, and challenge this bishop here. Because if he has to play his queen, if he wants to try to defend the bishop there with the queen, that also blocks the path of that knight and would slow his development. Or he would have to try to play this, which actually could be an interesting try for him. I might have to play a move like that if he does. So that would be something to look at. So this move is my top candidate move. I see no reason not to play it. It follows through with my previous plan. I really don't want to play my bishop out yet because the bishop's on this strong diagonal here, and I got to be careful to keep this defended at the moment in case I need to move something. Plus, I don't know if I want to just throw it here and super defend the d-pawn and kind of close down this e-file, especially if you start trying to pile on. So I'm going to go ahead and play and follow up with my idea here and play this bishop to d3 and then just look to try to get rid of that good bishop. So I'll argue that yes, he has a really good bishop and I want to trade it off. That's my goal. And see, it's interesting too, because if he had his knight was over on here, I would have to worry about ideas related to this, but he hasn't played that, which is strange for an Alekhine defense. It's really strange setup that he has here. I don't know if he's trying to throw me off with this setup, or if he's just plays the Alekhine a little differently, like offbeat or something. I'm not sure, but it's definitely a strange way to play it, from my understanding. When I played the Alekhine, at least I never played it like this. So gonna go ahead and pre-move the queen, taking the bishop back if he captures, because if he captures, it's pretty obvious what I have to play. Not a whole lot of thinking going into that one. But if he doesn't capture, then we'll have to figure out our next move. Something different. Rook e1 would be my next move that I would play. So this is probably what I'm gonna. If he doesn't capture with the bishop, I'm most likely gonna play rook e1 and just start taking control of the e-file. That would be my kind of go-to here. I still don't know what I want to do with this bishop yet. Depending on if he captures this or not, will probably indicate where I'm going to place these rooks. Because I'd like to play this rook over here and this rook on the d file, but if the queen's still sitting around, I might put it on the c file. That might be where I end up playing here, and I really have no idea where I want this bishop yet. I'm just not sure. I'm kind of thinking I might end up wanting to play it over here temporarily rather than up here. But okay, so he did play this move here. So he's wanting me to capture, and then he recaptures, and he has a way more active position than I do. But he's also blocking this square for the knight developing, which I'm happy about. And since he doesn't have a knight on this square, like could jump over here. Oops, if I can do arrows here. Since he doesn't have a knight that can jump over here and attack this position, I'm really leaning on just putting my queen here and just hyper focusing on trading these bishops off. So I'm kind of leaning it towards that at the moment. Other option would be to play my rook here and control it. And the reason is I don't think he can't play this safely, because if he does, I could capture, and then if he recaptures, I win the bishop, because the queen would be defending two pieces at once and can't. He'd just be overloaded. So I could easily play this move right now and take control of the e-file. It's kind of hitting nothing at the moment, but it does slow him from putting his rook over there for the time being. So I can play that. My other move is play here and just force something to happen with these bishops. I do like that idea too. So those are my two main competing ideas here for my next move. I like both of them. Different reasons, but I like both of them. My only thing I don't like playing, I guess, right this rook here now, is if I play this rook here, it's pretty much guaranteed he's going to put his knight here, which then he could jump over here and try to attack these squares. And I kind of want to get rid of that. I want to resolve this tension right here before something like that happens. Because I could play a move like this, which probably is okay. It's just kind of leery with this bishop hanging around here. I just don't like, you know, for example, if he plays a move like this, I would rather play something like this, if possible, to kind of shut down the center a little bit, and give me space to start going after the king side, maybe. It's really hard to decide on that, so I'm kind of leaning on trying to resolve this tension right away. I'm really leaning on that. That seems to be keying in on this, putting my queen here, double keying on that. Probably forces a queen or a bishop trade, unless he wants to push it back to g6, which is fine by me because then I'm also asserting more control. And I like the idea of my queen here because then I can throw my rook on the d file like I wanted to once I get rid of this bishop off that square. And it doesn't give him time to play a move like that because he has to figure out what's going on with this bishop. And if he plays g6, I mean, I'm absolutely happy with that. I'll probably just trade on f5, even if the queen's got off the board, and give him a busted up pawn structure. I mean, I'd be totally fine with that. I have to worry about this, though. Always have to keep an eye on that. So that is an interesting proposal. Okay, so top move is this, and I'm trying to figure out if there's any reason why I shouldn't play that. Is there another move that I can make that would be better? And I'm not seeing one. Definitely seems to follow through with my plan of getting this little guy off the board. Or at least challenging it. He also is targeting this square over here, but I don't think that is an immediate need. If he had a knight or something over on the king side here, I might be a little more leery of it, but I mean, if he sacks over here, he doesn't have any follow-up. He's just going to have a queen kind of sitting in there, which wouldn't help him at all. So I think I'm going to go ahead and play this move and just say, yeah, we really need to get these bishops off the board. Like, we're not going to do this. And then if my queen lands on this square, it's not, I'm totally okay with that for the moment. And then I'll have to figure out where this guy goes. Because I'll no longer be able to easily throw this here. I mean, the knight's protecting it, but still, I would rather connect the rooks at that point before playing the rook over here, if possible. And I might just throw the bishop over here temporarily just to get it out of the way so I can get the rooks developed. Because we're really going to have a battle of the minor pieces. He has to develop his knight, I have to develop my bishop, and I believe my dark squared bishop can be developed much better than his knight at this moment. Since his queen's on d7 here. So I'm liking that at the moment. We're going to see what happens here. Okay, he does capture, and of course I have to capture right away. There's nothing to think about here. Okay, now he changes the pawn formation. So now I have a big choice, and my choice is, do I capture, do I push, do I protect? And that's basically the main options I have. So I'm pretty sure I don't want to protect. And the reason is, if he captures, I capture back, suddenly this is going to get under a lot of heat. And I don't know, I just feel like it could be a problem. He can push over here, put his knight over here, rook could come over here, or maybe this one later. I mean, it just seems like it could get into a kind of a mess. If I push here, then his knight jumps over here, though. So my next question is, can I kick his knight out easily, which I should be able to play something like this and kick his knight out. And it doesn't really seem like he has a good square to go to, except retreating over here, and then he's in an awkward spot. So that doesn't make a whole lot of sense for him. So pushing might be okay. The only problem with this push, and I have to be really careful, is this is going to become a backwards pawn once I push this pawn here, which means it could be a liability if I'm not careful, and I'm always going to have to make sure that it's protected and things like that. And in an endgame situation with my pawn over here down the line, he could put his knight up, start attacking it, and there's some interesting things that could happen here that I got to be careful of. So that's a little bit of the drawback there. I don't know. I don't know. What do I want to do with this pawn structure here? I'm leaning on pushing it because I feel like if he pushes his knight here, it's a mistake, and he's going to have a really bad pawn formation or knight configuration here. So I really feel like pushing is a good idea. I'm pretty sure he's going to have to back it up here. I take away this square with the pawn, which is nice because the knight's not going to be able to jump back over here. And this square, I would love to pull this. I think I might even pile up on here and just start attacking at that point, because now that my pawn will be here, this square looks like a nice square for if I can get some sort of minor piece on it. I wouldn't mind that at all. So I'm kind of looking at that. I think he's wanting me to capture or defend, and he captures and clears the d file. So I'm going to go ahead and push this pawn. I really think that's the right move in this position here. I think locking down that center, pushing the knight away, it's really going to kind of deactivate his position a little bit, and he's really going to have to struggle to get his knights active again. That I can see anyway. And it kind of, having this bishop here is actually really awesome, because if he does put his knight here and attack, this square is protected. So he can't do something weird. There's no weird stuff. He can't come over here. He would have to pull his knight back over there. And I just think that's terrible. So I can't imagine he would do that. I think he's a good enough player to understand that this is not a move that he can play. And I'm pretty sure he's going to back his knight up here, which again is, I think it's going to be a benefit to me. He'll probably then try to play a move like that, and then I'll have to decide if I'm pushing this pawn up or not, which I think I almost have to at that point. And that'll be an interesting play. So knight comes here, pawn comes here, my pawn comes here, a5, and we have a really interesting situation here because I cannot play a3, because if he captures and I capture, then the rook hangs because my bishop is still there. So that's interesting idea too. I'll have to play around with that if he does play b6. Okay, so he played the move I thought he was going to play. This move is probably what's coming up next. Preemptively, then, I need to get this bishop out of the way. I need to put the bishop probably on this square, looking to jump to this square. If I can jump it to this square. Also, I can put the knight up over here next. And I'm liking that. And also, by getting rid of the bishop, that whole scenario I talked about where he plays over here, I play over here, he plays a5. I could play a3 then, because my rook is connected to the other rook, and I don't have to worry about capturing on the b4 and exposing my a1 rook. So I definitely like that. That seems to be a decent idea here. And my coffee is kicking in nicely for me. I'm feeling the coffee. Okay, so what's the other alternative here? The alternative, if he doesn't play this move, he was probably going to have to do something like this. Maybe rerouting the knight, trying to probably attack this weak pawn. But that's several moves off. And if he does move over here and my bishop's here, boom, I have a nice spot right there. So this move is looking like the move I should be playing. Connect the rooks, get the other minor piece out into the game. Now this diagonal is looking a lot better with these two pawns here. So I'm liking that idea. So I think I'm going to go ahead and play that and see what my opponent responds with. If he responds maybe something like this, I can now challenge him comfortably. So that's always an option. And now this configuration looks really, really weird for black. Like it really does. Like just this is why I think I don't know. I don't know if this is how he typically plays Alkine. Okay, so expected that move, right? So this is probably going to be my response. And if he takes, I take, and keep that lock on there. And now if I play this and he plays something like that, I can play a3 and I'm okay. Because capturing over here, I capture back, and then his rook would capture, my rook would capture back, and I would control the A file, and I would be pretty happy, I think, with that. So B4 is the move I probably want to be making next. Keep those knights locked down. I also have to be careful of this move here, but right now my queen's protecting that, so I don't need to worry about the moment. But that could attack later on, could attack this configuration if I'm not careful. So going to go ahead and play b4. There's really no good reason to play this move. This move just gives him like everything that he probably wants out of this to reactivate those knights. So I'm not going to let him do that. I'm going to make him work to get those knights in the game now. So in this position, we have a little turn event. So now if we're looking at this thing, I got way more active pieces than he does. So this kind of helps me, like in terms of kind of gauging how I'm doing in the opening. Like I'm feeling pretty good. This opening coming here, we're on move 16. We're well going into the middle game here, and I'm liking my position quite a bit. I think I got some good space. I got more pieces developed. I got the better opportunity to get my rooks developed in the game. The E file's open. I might be throwing my rook here next, or I might be trying to play a move like this possibly in the near future, attacking the queen, maybe making trade off that bishop there. That's another active piece around his king. So that might be a possibility, but I'm really liking my position at here. And the other idea is later down the line, I might even be able to start pushing here depending on how things develop. I'll have to look and see how he wants to play this position here. The only thing I don't like right now is this kind of scope. It always makes me a little nervous with that. So I really want to get this rook somewhere else if possible, depending on how if he plays a5 or not. I can't imagine him capturing here. I think that would kind of eliminate all the tension, not give him all. He wouldn't have a lot of resources to make another move, another active plan in this position. I think then he would just be kind of stuck defending and sitting around. I don't think he would enjoy that. It's also worth noting that he hasn't really burned a lot of time yet on his clock, which is weird because in this position, I mean, it's not. I don't think he prepped this type of move, this position here. I can't imagine he's just like playing quickly and getting himself in this position and he's happy about it. So I'm kind of interested that he hasn't burned a lot more time earlier here trying to figure out how to get his rest of his pieces in the game. So I don't know if in this position he's going to start burning some time to like figure out, okay, critical position for him. I mean, if I'm playing as black, I'm looking at this position saying, I got to find some really good concrete moves here, and try to figure out how I'm going to deal with this. Yeah, so a5 is playing over here. So this is where the change happens. So if I play a3, now the knight can come here and start hammering on these squares because it's now protected by that rook. So the rook is now protecting the square, allowing this knight to come in. So there's two ways that I can play that idea. One, I could capture the knight right now and totally take that away. I don't want to do that. I believe this bishop is way stronger than whatever that knight could be. And if I do play a move over here and he plays his knight to this square, I'm wondering if I can get away with playing something like that. But that looks a little dicey. Not sure. Not sure I want to play that. So we know this move is coming in here. Knight a6 is going to be coming if I play a3. If I play a3, I'm like 100% sure he's going to play this move next. And then this square is under fire, and I don't know how I want to deal with that square. I guess I could probably throw the rook here, but then capture. I could capture back, and that seems okay. If he captures, I capture back. The rook is and the queen hit the knight. if my rook is over here defending. So a3, knight a6, rook f to b1 is my move. And if I play rook to fb1, I'm almost telling him I agree the action is going to be played on this half of the board. Like all of our pieces are going to start migrating over there to resolve that. Pretty much guaranteed. So the question is, do I want that? And do I have the option? I don't believe I can play this move. This move I think would be terrible because he's going to capture back and all of a sudden there's a ton of pressure over here and it's just not looking good. So I do not want to play that move. I could preemptively play a move like this. My idea or what I'm arguing is, hey, I'm going to play here. If you capture back, I'm going to play my knight here and I'm targeting this square. Infiltrating doesn't sell me much. It's kind of like, or actually d3 would be the main move. So I go here, captures, knight captures, looking to come over here, and then one of my minor pieces is going to drop in there, even if the knight captures. And my argument's going to be like, voila, that's awesome, right? But if I go here, he doesn't have to capture here right away. He can capture here, and if I have to capture back, everything kind of falls apart because the bishop is pinning the rook for starters. But even if he just captures the bishop or the knight, then this pawn is weak and he can just capture it and win a pawn, it looks like. So it just doesn't seem like that's feasible. That seems way too risky. All for maybe the benefit of getting a bishop or something on that square. Yeah. I believe I have better ideas than that. Can't play this move. I'd love to play this move right now, but he's just going to chomp on it, and then when I capture back, I get my bishop here, nice. But guess what? Pawn hangs, threatens a knight. Then this pawn is going to capture, and it's just not going to work out well. I'm pretty sure I need to play this move. This move seems like the only move that really makes sense. And then I'm going to wait and see if he throws his knight here, and then I'll probably have to throw my rook over here. And we're just going to have a battle on the queen side. So let's go ahead and play a3 and see how he tackles this position. But knight a6, this is the move I'm anticipating. If he plays something else besides that, I will be surprised. I will be definitely surprised if he does not play that move. That seems to me like the only reason you play this move like this and just start piling up. I mean, this is where he's going for. Plus, he's got to get his knight back active again. Don't know where this knight's going to go yet. I think right now he's just babysitting the square with it, so it might hang out there. Yep, knight a6. So we're looking at this again. There's really not that many moves I have to resolve this. This is pretty much the only move I can make. The other move that I could do, but it would give him, it might give him advantage, is if I play my rook here instead. But capture, he would have a little more control over this file. I kind of like the idea of having this rook here attacking. So I kind of like the idea of he captures, I capture back, and then all of a sudden this is a problem for him that he's got to deal with. And one idea is it might tempt him to play this move here, and if he does, it shuts down that queenside action, and then I can go back to doing other things in the position, which I feel like I have a better advantage on. So rook fb1. So this is my candidate move, and now I just have to decide if I want to do something else besides that. But that's the move I'm looking at playing right now. Seems like the most logical move to make in this position. Trying to find some other reason to play something else. So if we want to talk about some bad ideas real quick, we cannot play this move because he's just going to simply capture over here, and if I capture back, his knight's going to capture back and attack my queen, and his bishop suddenly comes to life, and it becomes a big problem for me. And I have a hanging pawn over here that's going to be like impossible to defend. So that's just a terrible way to move on this position. Similarly, if I go here, I don't think I get anything good out of this. I believe if I play here, he's going to probably have to capture back. I'm trying to see if the queen comes and takes. Even if we trade queens, the knight's going to come here. He's going to attack that pawn. And I cannot take anymore because, oops. Well, at this point, it'll be oops. So that doesn't work either. So yeah, this move makes the most sense. I believe it is tactically sound. If I move my rook over here, if he captures, I'm just going to capture back, no problem. I now control that open file. I'm fine with that. If he captures here, I capture back, and then now I'm hitting his knight, and he's got to figure out what he's going to do about that. If he shuts it down with this, that's good for me, because then I don't have to worry about the queen side doing anything right now. All those pawns are all static, and I can go back to, maybe looking at moves like this. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and play this move here. And I'm basically going to question his position and say, hey, what do you think you're going to do in this position? What are you wanting to do? Because my next move is probably going to be something like this, if I can get away with it. There's nothing happening over on the queen side here. If he's not going to capture here or here, I will probably try to improve this knight to this outpost square and see if he wants to trade to the bishop for that knight. But otherwise, I'm going to attack the queen, make him do something with it. So this move will probably be my next improve this piece. I could also look at trying to improve this knight here. There's several ideas I could do to try to improve the knight. This is one of them, trying to kind of super attack on this square here. I'm just not sold on doing it right away, but I think that's a move maybe I could look at doing here in the next little bit. One idea about this move I like is I really want to get rid of this bishop, so I don't have to worry about this diagonal anymore. Like if I trade the bishop and knight over here, I'm happy with that because then this is no longer an issue, and I can just worry about the queen side. I have more options on how to resolve queen side tension, so I like that idea more right now. So I'm kind of happy with that idea. And if I can get a bishop on this square, it would be nice. But I think this knight's going to hang out here and just defend that for a while, which is not bad for me either. If he has a piece here, I mean, his rooks aren't connected and stuff. So I mean, that's not the worst thing in the world for me to have his knight on c8 stuck sitting around babysitting a square, mostly inactive. I still believe my pieces are better than his generally. And I'm still shocked that he has 42 minutes on his clock. My goodness. He needs to start burning some time, come up with some really good plans, I think. I don't know what he's playing so quickly for. I mean, if I'm him, I'm going to be burning more time on my clock. I can't imagine he's happy about this position. I mean, I don't think it's terrible for him yet, but certainly not like blissing out the moves. I'm in positions I understand and know. I'm happy with it. There's nothing really to calculate. I mean, he's got to at least pause and start thinking of some strategic ideas and trying to find some calculations, some lines on the queen side, and what is he going to do with, is the rook going to come up here and try to do anything? Like I don't know. He's got to come up with some ideas here. I'm not sure what he's trying to do. But while he's thinking right now, I unfortunately am going to have to take a break and use the restroom. So I will be back. Okay. All right, I'm back. Apologies for that. Coffee took effect, and I had to take a moment to take care of that. So yeah, we're okay. He hasn't moved. He's starting to do some time. That's good. I'm glad that he's using time. Um, uh, we want a better chess game if we can, and people playing their moves and things like that. So I'm glad to see he's using some time and seeing how he's going to come up with some moves here. It's interesting in this position for me. Again, him playing the Alekhine defense, really interesting. Um, because he played in a really unusual way. So I would be interesting after the game if that's the way he normally plays it. I would be interested to ask him now, like, hey, is this a normal way that you play the Alekhine, or like, because it's not the normal move. And honestly, I'm not sold on it in terms of how the game's been going for him. I don't believe this is superior to typical Alekhine positions that I've known in the past. So if this is the way he normally plays it, I would expect to have better positions from him. Because right now it seems like I'm kind of dictating a lot of what's going on here. Certainly not typical Alekhine pieces. Usually the Alekhine defense, the pieces are like playing active roles in the center and using some pawn breaks and trying to take bust up the space that white initially grabs, and that's not really what's happened here. So I don't know. So in this position here, for me, things that I'm looking at is the knight can go to a better improved square. So that's kind of my main strategic idea and plan if nothing happens on the queen side immediately. The only thing that I have to be careful of, I think right now, is I still have to babysit this idea. So if I put a piece over here, that kind of shuts it down. And by attacking the queen and the pawn here, it more or less forces him to get rid of this bishop or the knight. That's how I look at it. I would be shocked if he just moved his queen away, like maybe moved it over here as an example. I just don't see him doing stuff like that. I just think that's just strategically and tactically bad. So I'm pretty sure he would have to give up that bishop for the knight. And then I don't have to worry about that diagonal anymore. So I'm really looking at putting the knight over here next. I really don't even care if he puts the rook over here. I'm just still going to do that. As far as I can see, that doesn't change anything tactically or otherwise. So that's where I'm looking at my next moves over here, assuming he doesn't try to take here or try to take here. And if he does capture here, I'm going to capture back, and then he's going to have to deal with this and figure out what he's going to do with that knight. And it's not so easy to figure out how he's going to deal with that because he can't just move it away, or I'm going to capture his rook because his rook's not defended. So that would be, I think, strategically and tactically an issue for him. So I just don't believe he's going to capture this pawn. And if he doesn't capture the pawn, then the only other pawn really he could capture is here. But then if he does that, I'm going to capture back here, and then he has a lone sitting pawn doing nothing. I control this open file. I don't think that's strategically good for him either. So I can't imagine that's going to help him at all. So it's really an interesting position to me for black because I'm really struggling to find good ideas for black here. I mean, I think this could just be a normal, like, I made a move, I got a rook on an open file, ta-da, like that's kind of where I'm at with his position. Like, it's almost like if I'm him, I'm just going to play this move and see what white does next. I don't really have anything good actively to do, and just kind of improve a piece a little bit. But like I said, I'm going here next, and that rook move doesn't solve any of that, I don't think. Wow, he did capture over here. So capture over here, I have to capture back, and then we'll see if he plays a move like that. It's the only other move I can play, so really interested. Oh, wow, I totally missed that idea. Okay. Oh, forgot about that. He attacks the queen. See, and this is me doing my normal, oh no, my pawn. If I take the knight, he takes my rook. Ooh, now I have a problem. So I'm down a pawn. Yeah, well, I'm known to make mistakes here, and here's my first one. Tactically inclined to make a blunder. All right. Well, that kind of screws up a lot of my ideas. So how do I want to handle this? I actually, wow, one move, one tactical move error, and it really went from a really good position for me to a terrible one. Wow. Okay, so I think this is the only move that I can play right now. And the reason is because he's attacking my queen, and the queen has no good square that it can go to. At least that I can see, because if I retreat it here, suddenly the queen starts getting active. He's going to capture this rook, obviously. I don't like that idea. If I capture this, he's going to capture here, but it's a check. Does that make a difference? Don't think so. Capture here, he's going to capture here with check. My king's going to come over here. Ouch. I don't know, man. I think I broke my position in one spectacular, oh no, my pawn. Oh no, my pawn. And he's attacking my queen. I'd love to just grab his rook, but I can't justify that. He just takes my queen, then he's threatening my bishop, and my position's just not playable. Not playable at all. That's an unfortunate mistake. I'm wondering if I just have to give up the pawn. See, I really don't like this. So the problem I'm having here, so I'm going to go here. If I go here, his next move is going here. The rook is going to come here. If he takes the pawn here, I take back here, and then we have that issue with the knight and the rook. And we got pawns, and this other thing is going to happen. We got queens. It's going to get ugly. The question is, let's see, taking the knight. Really unfortunate to miss that idea. If I take the knight now, I don't think I'm going to get a better position because he's going to take my rook. My king's going to go up there, and I don't even have this move because I had to move my king. And he literally could just play a move like that, shut everything down, and say, okay, I'm up material. I'm just going to, like, activate my pieces. And I really don't have a whole lot to show for that. That's my biggest problem, I think, in this position here. So I'm left with the queen's got to move. The only square for the queen to go to is here. And the main reason why that's the only square is because I got to defend the bishop if the queen jumps over here. But more so, I have to put my queen here because I can't go to one of these squares because then he just throws the rook with another tempi, possibly. And I have to be careful because there's always knight stuff here. And yeah. So if I do move the bishop here, it keeps an eye on these for now. Okay, so I'm trying to, all right, go here. Probably rook takes, rook takes. Knight is kind of hanging in the air a little bit, but I don't think I have a good way of capturing or capitalizing on that. It's always hard to make, when you make a blunder, the follow-up is usually the hardest one to make because it's kind of demotivating. So you gotta take some time to look at the position, try to get over the mistake, and then say, okay, I'm in this position now. What's my next best move? Like, nothing is going to be good, but you want to try to make the best responses possible to give yourself a chance to maybe get back into it. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm thinking I have to play this move, which is just, it's ugly, but I just can't justify any other move at this point. I mean, the only other move that I can come up with is this, and I just don't think that's going to work because it comes with a check. If it didn't come with the check, I'd be open to it because I could capture this pawn and maybe try to make a threat here to justify the material loss. Like if my king was here, for example, already, I would really consider just giving up the exchange and saying, hey, I'm going to capture the knight, you're going to capture my rook, and then I'm going to take this pawn here. And my idea is I can quickly attack the knight, pushing it here, and I can attack here using the bishop. Like that would actually make a lot of sense. But because if I capture here, he's going to go here, I have to move my king. He can literally just shut it all down playing that move. And then I'm just down material. Like I'm just 100% down material, and I don't have any active plan after that to justify. My rook could be stuck up here. He's going to have an active rook over here, and it's just not something I really want to play for. I don't see how that's going to help me. He would just trade material down, my guess would be. So yeah, I think we're going to play this move and say I'm in trouble. Yep. And we have to capture back. There's no choice with that. Yep, he's going to capture there. All the moves I thought. I have to capture back here, and then we have this issue that I gotta mess with. So if I capture, he's going to push here and move the knight. The knight's going to have to move somewhere like here. He could push and threaten here, but then my knight could capture, so I think I'm okay. Tactically. Still not doing well, though. All right. Let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and capture back. Oh, unfortunate mistake, man. That's what happens when you don't play chess for a while. You have to dust off a little bit. Ouch, it's showing on my part here. Had a decent idea and then just oop, missed a tactic. Totally missed it. And that is where we stand right now. So really not sure he's going to play this move, but he might still anyway. But if he does play this move, I think I have to play this and threaten that. I think that's where I'm at. I don't think a knight has any really good square to go to because he wants to maybe even push it down here. Start using the pass pawn. If he plays his rook here, that stops my idea over here, which isn't great. So yeah, I'm really losing a lot of ideas here pretty quickly. It's kind of disappointing way to be. One pawn just kind of changed the entire nature of the game. Solved all of Black's problems in one fell swoop. And that's chess. 99% tactics, man. You can build up a decent position, miss a tactic, and it all goes away. So now we get to sit and play defensive chess. not really defensive chess. I mean, it's more of like I just gotta, I don't know, find something active. Really kind of wondering if he's going to use his bishop to attack the knight. I don't think he will, but I'm just trying to think. I don't know. Rook e8 makes a lot of sense for black in this position to me. I think he can just quietly build his position back up safely. I don't have anything active going on that I can do. I have no tactic to try to grab a pawn. You know, there's nothing like this because he can just recapture back, so it doesn't matter that I'm attacking the knight. And as long as this pin happens here, I'm going to have to basically move the rook somewhere. And this is a weak pawn. It's not protected by anything. He has a nice protected pawn here, and I don't think he can get at this pawn very easily. So it'll be interesting to see how he plays this. I don't know where I want to play my pieces, actually. I'm kind of wanting to throw this rook down here, but, you know, trades are, I mean, they're not going to help me too much. Not going to solve my problems. I need to use my temporary piece superiority to do something, but unfortunately I'm not seeing anything really good active to do in the next few moves. So that'll change everything here. For me, I don't know. He's taking more time on his clock, which is smart. I mean, this is where he got a tactical hit on me, and now he needs to sit and figure out how to follow up on it. So good for him for his clock management on that, using some time. I'm expecting a move like this myself. That would be a move I would expect. I would play something like that because I would just want to control this square, shutting ideas down for like the knight coming in. I would love to get this move in now, but there's no way, especially if you play this move. The other idea is something like this, just getting his queen more active, and maybe allowing his knight to come in here and spying on this. And then that also shuts this move down as well. So I could see him getting a queen active doing that. Like I said, I don't really have a good way to capitalize on this undefended knight, and making this move makes a lot of sense. It gives his knight options to kind of reroute and get out of the position. So actually, this move might make more sense even than rook e8. This move might just help solve a lot more of his knight issue right here. Because presently the knight has no escape squares. Nowhere to go, but it's not under attack yet. So, but if I played something like this, all of a sudden it's under attack and can't really get away, and yeah, so this move makes a lot of sense. Following up with this, putting pressure over here, shutting down this idea with the knight. Then maybe later on he'll do something with this knight. I don't know. Now that this square is open, that's a possibility too. And you can always play here at some point. So yeah, a lot of ideas. Also, I don't think he'll play this move, but that's a possibility. I just don't think it's as good because I'm going to put my knight here and do stuff like that. And then if he pushes his pawn to attack the rook, I'll just take the bishop and boom. Yeah, I don't see that happening, but I could be wrong because I was wrong earlier. So, you know, I could have missed something. Yep, that makes a lot of sense for white, or for black, obvious reasons. So the knight now has a way to go. He can even try to force the queen trade. Also would be really good for him. I'm wondering if I should play this move. The problem is the knight defends that pawn, so it takes a lot of its punch out. Yeah, Ouch. What to do about that? This is another move I'm considering to attack the knight, but I'm pretty sure the knight's going to go here, threatening the bishop, which that rook will also help defend. So that's one of my ideas of moving the rook over here, is I'm also preemptively helping defend that a little bit. I don't really know. I put my rook over here if the knight wasn't protecting it, just so I could get at that weak base pawn. But that is not an option. I really think he's going to try to also play this move now because he's spying this. So that's an option. And I no longer have this way. So if he pushes, my knight cannot go with that square. All of which is indicating to me that I really should play my rook over here and do something active and get it off this diagonal and everything else. But if I play this move, he's going to go here, and he's going to attack there, but most importantly, he's going to go after this pawn, and I don't know if I have a good way to defend that pawn in that position. So yeah, a lot of problems for me, and not a lot of solutions. I could try playing this move here. I wonder if you try to trade queens. But I don't think I have anything better anyway. So if I play this move, the idea is that this doesn't become playable. Because I just capture with the knight, threatening the queen. If he captures it back, I capture with the queen, which still defends the bishop, defends the pawn, and attacks the knight. But if he plays here and I play here, he could just simply pick up the pawn that way. The other thing, by playing rook d1, I become super passive. And the biggest actually issue I have is this move and this, because the queen's overloaded, so that doesn't solve the overloaded queen either. So now I have a bigger issue. I have to solve that. I don't have a good way of solving that. I don't think I have a good way of solving that. I think knight there might be my only solution to that. And then takes, and then takes, and then knight forks the rook and the queen. He's got answers for everything. Wild. It's wild how bad that position got for me so fast. What to do about Harry, man? I don't know. I suppose I could concede to playing my bishop here. And that looks super ugly. Almost seems like I can just resign this position. It's so bad now. Barely bad. I want to say this is my only playable move. I don't think I can do this for the reasons we stated earlier. I got to get the bishop and the knight from being overloaded. I can't move the knight because of the pin. If I play a move like this, can I get away with that? Takes, still defended. Maybe rook c1. Maybe. I don't actually think I... Well, because... See, rook here, queen comes here. The idea being if take, all of a sudden I'm getting forked. So I wouldn't be able to take. But then he has 2 pieces on here. And he can certainly just trade because he's at material, so trades are good for him. Get the queens off the board and all that. So much to think about. So much to think about. Oh, also, this doesn't work either because if I go here, he'll just straight away go there. Yeah. And then we're done. So rook c8, rook c1, not a move. Rook d1 is not a move. So we're back to bishop e3. That lame, but seemingly only move that's playable, and try to hold on to this square. And that's about it that I can do. And I don't even like that move. That move I think is losing as well. But barring anything else that I can see that's of any value, we're gonna just play this move and say, ouch. And my next idea, if I can get away with it, would be this move, which I don't think I'll be able to play, but we will see. Always something. And yeah, usually I whisper a lot in my games, but since I'm streaming, I decided no point in whispering because people can look at my stream and see what I'm doing, thinking. Yeah, knight d4 is my next move that I would follow up with, but not 100% sold I'm going to be able to play that. We're going to see how my opponent plays. See what he's going to do next. But I'm definitely kind of crawling back defensively. It's amazing how bad my position got so quickly. Just shows you in chess. You make one mistake and it can really spiral your position. I'm wondering if he's just going to play a move like this and just kind of simplify. And the idea is he's just going to grab this bishop. He's going to attack the rook, but his really aim is to just get rid of this bishop and solve his knight hanging out in the open with that idea. The other idea is if he plays here, he can look to be pushing the pawn down the line. So probably just something like this would be a simple idea of solution. You can also try to get the rook a little active. I'm not threatening anything at the moment. This is my only real threat, and attacks the queen, the pawn, and I mean, he can always just simply retreat the queen, or he can just chomp on the knight and say, you know, I don't care anymore about that. So yeah, I don't even know if I can get that away. Let's see, if I go here, actually, I think he captures, and if I capture, he'll play that. Wow, can't even play the move I want to play. It's still tactically bad. Unreal. That c2 square, it's just becoming my problem. Just becoming my problem. Really is getting to be a resignable position. It's getting that bad. Even only down a pawn. It's just none of my pieces are doing anything. And he's gonna get his other pieces in the game soon. I have that to worry about too. So that is actually, that might really be the issue. Because if I cannot play this, I gotta solve this stuff. And there's no good way to solve this stuff. I mean, just too much going on. I would have to play that move. Wow. Okay, so I'm thinking rook comes here, the knight's going to come here, bishop's going to capture, this bishop's going to capture, the knight is going to come here and attack both of these pieces, which means my rook's going to have to come here, but then his knight's going to capture the bishop, my queen's going to capture here, and then I think he can just get his knight going into the game, and I don't have anything to show for it. Wow. Well, I think he's got me dead to rights now. I think he's got the solutions for everything, and I'm just slowly falling apart with nothing active to do. It's the first game, Bo. Round one. Round one, and yeah, losing the first round game isn't the end of the world. At least I felt like I had a decent early on in the game until I got that B4 mix-up. I really missed that one. And that unraveled my position big time. Wasn't even the pawn loss that was the problem. It was his piece activity just flipped the script, and all of a sudden his pieces are just all over my position, and that's what really destroyed my position here. The pawn is less of a concern. Well, my opponent's definitely thinking. Not sure if he's trying to find out how to tactically finish me off here, or if he's just trying to make sure I don't have anything crazy going on. I mean, he does have this knight that's kind of hanging out there. He's got to make sure he doesn't get it trapped or anything like that, because I could again flip the script on him, and then it's back to me doing better than him. So he's got to make sure that that doesn't happen. But yeah, rook over here or a knight over here. There's a lot of ideas you can play that all seem to be reasonable. Um, I'm wondering if you could even just simply throw the knight in here and say, well, it's going to build up pressure here. What are you going to do? So that's also something I got to look at and be worried about. If he goes in over here, that kind of loses control of here a bit, but he's still going to have to get his rook over there before he tries to push. I think so. It's not quite working, but I don't know. Even just simply rerouting over here has its merits. But this move is going to come next, so I think he can't play that, actually, because he's got to... Well, he could. He would just have to capture. Interesting, interesting. It's funny how 3 of his pieces are outperforming my 5. It's pretty amazing, actually. I got 5 active pieces, and they're being outplayed by 3 of his. Oof. It's like we got a B team against a professional team going out here in football and just getting worked over. It's kind of amazing. I'm waiting to see what his next response is. He's taking a lot of time on his move here, so either he's calculating to try to like he's seeing some tactical idea, he's trying to calculate it out, make sure he's right before he plays it, or he's just trying to find a... Yeah, he's calculating. Okay, so that makes sense. He thinks he has a way to finish me off tactically, and he's going for it. Okay, so what am I going to do about this? I got 3 pieces on it in 1 defender, so I'm gonna capture it, but the main thing he's gonna do is try to go over here. So I'm looking at capturing here. The idea is capture back. The queen cannot come because then it's forked. If the knight captures here, the queen is going to capture here, I think. And he also now has a space for that. And then the rook's going to come in at some point. Yeah. Question is, do I just play with it? I really think I just need to play the bishop and just force the bishops off here and just kind of get rid of this diagonal. Also, if he does that, he could play his rook here and pin. I think he might even try to overload it and pin it. If I go here, queen takes, and now this can't move without that. But maybe I could just play that. All right, so take here. If he has here, then I'm going to take, so we can't do that. Here, take, take. I get back. Oof, that's a lot of tactics going on here. But I don't find much better, so I'm going to go ahead and play it. And just say, yeah, not looking great. Definitely have strategic issues, and I can't resolve them. So, why not? Not quite resignable, but it's getting kind of bad. My guess is he's coming here next. That's what I would expect of him here. Maybe a follow-up with that. I don't know. But I'm thinking he's going to go here. I think I'm going to play my knight here, attacking the bishop and the queen if he does. That'll probably... Whew, look at that. It's just... Whew, that bishop really causing me problems. But yeah, if he captures here, I think I'm going to go here. Threaten here, look at that, get rid of that stupid bishop there. That's just causing me so many problems. That's kind of what I'm looking at. And if his bishop takes the knight, then I'm going to have to capture back with the bishop. And then play my rook to d1 after he plays like knight c2, maybe. I'm going to use the restroom again real quick while he thinks. All right, and I'm back. Yes, he did take that pawn. Okay, I figured you would do something like that. Okay, so now I got to figure out what I'm doing with this. All right. Okay, so my go-to move is here. That's my main idea. Because I don't see anything else that really helps a lot. If I move here, I'm eyeing the knight here, and I'm attacking the queen. I mean, it just does a lot in the position. My guess is don't know, maybe he'll even, I don't know, you can't do that. Because it's defended, yeah. Alright, well, this seems to be the only move that makes sense here. So I think I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then just put the question to him in terms of what he's going to do. Because I really do want to get rid of that bishop. This forces his queen to move, and I'm also spying his knight, which limits his response. So worst case scenario, I'm going to bust up his king structure a little bit. Not that it probably matters at this part of the game, but it can't hurt. And I can try to maybe win this knight if I can pin it, depending on where he puts his queen. Like if he puts his queen back here, I can take. He still has to take back here because he can't leave his knight undefended. If he puts his queen here, this move helps with this knight. There's some ideas here, and maybe I can try to pin. I don't know. It's going to be interesting where he puts his queen. My guess is he'll play safe and just drop his queen back here. And then, like I said, at least I can get rid of that bishop, and that diagonal ceases to become my bane. Yep, he does play that back. Okay, so now he's threatening my knight. So again, the only real move I have follow up is this. I don't think I have any other move that I can make. This move doesn't work because he just takes my knight, and yeah, all sorts of problems. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and capture. Yep, yeah, I knew where he's going to go with that. All right, the knight's going to reroute over here. I need to try to find something more active. His king's a little more exposed, so that gives me some ideas to try to get his king. I'm wondering if I should drop my knight over here, attack the queen, start getting it into a more aggressive place. Maybe even using my bishop. I'm still spying this. So if I move here, can I win this knight? Maybe. Because I'll cover this. This knight will cover here, will cover here. I have a check to the king. So if I go here, oh no, he can play this queen over here. Never mind. That'll protect the knight. Bummer. I was close to maybe winning that knight, but no, I forgot queen e4. Then when I check the king, he moves away, but he's still protecting the knight. Unless I can pile up. It gets, I don't know. I mean, I still think this move is the right move to play, even though it doesn't win the knight outright or anything. It still seems like the move to play because I really got to go after this king, I think, in this position. I think I'm gonna play over here, and this is gonna give me options. If I go here and he goes here, he's attacking the knight, but he's also attacking the rook. Ugh. Okay, let me solve that. How do I solve that? How do I solve that? Check. King moves. I can't take the knight because he'll take my rook. Right? Unless I can argue I'm going to move my... No, because it comes with check. He's going to take here with check. I can't do that. Alright. So if I go here and he goes here, threatening the knight, threatening the rook, I have to go here, check. If he moves his king here, probably okay with that. If he moves his king up, it's still defended. Queen's attacking the rook. Rook is going to have to move, but I could move my rook here. I like this idea. I like that idea. I think it's better than some of my other options anyway. So let's go ahead and move. Let's go ahead and move the knight here. Let's try that. I think I don't see him tactically making. I don't think there's a tactical refutation for it. I do think I'm not going to win the knight outright, but I'm gaining a measure of counterplay on his king, which is weakened. And now that I have the dark square bishop, even stuff like this could be a possibility depending on what he does. What to do, what to do. That, I mean, I'm a little lower on the clock now, so I also have to be careful on my clock time. So that's another thing I gotta keep an eye on here. As we get down into, I gotta leave enough. Okay, so he did play that move. I kind of thought he would play that move. This move was a possibility, but it looked like a little because there's ways to attack him, and yeah. Okay, so he's defending the knight, but he's no longer attacking my rook, which is nice. So this move, I think I go here, check. I think that's what I want to play. I get a tempo out of it, and then I need to figure out what I'm going to do with that. But if I go check, the king, he can put his queen back here to help defend, but I could really put some pressure on this, I think. And that could, I don't know, that might be something. It's certainly not nothing, I don't think. I mean, I think I got a little bit going on here. I don't think I have anything better right now. It's got to do something with the knights under attack. So this makes the only sense. Get it from out attack. It's now defended. It's going to go with the tempo on the king. The king's got to go here or here. And then this diagonal might become weak. Maybe I can exploit it. Possibly. But I got to be careful how I do it. I think this move will be a good one to play. After he moves his king, I'm going to pressure this. Also, this could be a possibility, depending where he moves his king. So if he moves his king up here to attack, oh no, my queen's still defending it. Maybe not. Maybe that is. Wow, maybe I actually can win this knight. If I can play this move, I don't know if he has a good response for that. That might work. Oh wow, he did play that king. So that, why does this not work? I need to calculate. That move looks way too powerful. So these are my two options here. I'm looking at that bishop move because that looks like the most active. I mean, I'm literally attacking two pieces, one undefended, one that will be underdefended. My queen's still keeping track of my knight, and my rook is not under threat. The other move would be this, which I also think is powerful, and it gets another piece in the game. But this move just, I mean, what does he do? How does he defend that? Does he play his, he plays his queen to attack the rook and the bishop. Oh, it comes with Shack. Okay, so he could play this move. So, okay, so I gotta think now. If I go here, and he plays his queen here, and he's threatening both of these pieces. If I take the rook, he's gonna take the rook, but it's gonna come with check. And I'm gonna have to move my king up. and then he's going to be able to do something with the knight. Move the knight back over here. My bishop's going to be over here. His queen's going to be over here. I can capture this with a check, but then these pieces are both undefended, and that's not going to work. Because then he's going to play this. Unless I can play my queen. So I can checkmate. His knight's going to be here. Oh, wow, this is going to get complicated real fast. Oh, and I have a little bit of time, but not too much. So now I'm looking at this move because I'm wondering if this is actually safer and stronger. I am attacking the knight with 2 pieces. It's no longer hanging. What is it? How does he get another piece to defend? And it's pinned to the queen. He's going to check. I'm going to move my king. And then he'll move his knight. But then I get this move. Oh no, because the knight's defending. Okay, so it's that check that's really hurting me from preventing to win the knight outright. But this move really seems to be a better idea. I really like this move, I think, more because I think it asks way too many questions for him. He's going to have to probably move here, threatening the bishop. But what if I just move my rook? Then what does he do? I don't know if he has a response for that. I go here. What if he goes here? Capture, knight capture, threaten the rook. Whew. This gets tough. This gets tough. Such options to play. All right. I'm going to play this move, and we're going to see what happens here. I think this works. Okay for me. It can't. I don't think he has any way to really tactically get out of this. To my detriment. I think if nothing else, everything's okay. All my pieces get safe. And it puts a lot of pressure on his position. So we'll see what he comes up with. Oh, you know what? He can't play this move because then I capture and I'm defending my queen. Wow. Wow. Okay. Yeah. So I think he has to play this move. I think he has to play that move. And then I have to figure out how I'm going to. And then maybe I have this move. Wow. That might even work. So if he goes here, I think I can just go here. And I don't think he has a good way of not losing the knight. Right? So he'll have to stay defending this pawn, unless he goes there. And then the idea is, I'm going to capture this knight, he's going to capture that knight. It's interesting. Thank you for 45-second increments, because otherwise I don't know if I'd have enough time to actually get this, play this move out, man. I think it's going to be an interesting one. So we're gonna have a lot. We have a lot going on. A lot to think about here. I think he has to play this move. And now my question is, do I capture here and let him capture with check and then move his knight back? Or if he moves here, do I play a move like this? Oh, he doesn't. He can't go to that square. Oh, but he can go here. No, he can't because I can capture it. Wow. Okay, yeah, that move looks good to me. I think if he plays this move, I think I just play this, and then maybe he plays his rook here, pinning the queen. But then I get this. So that can't work. Wow. I think that works for me. I think I got lucky here. We'll see. I think I got lucky. And that's the end of my coffee. That's got to last me the rest of the game now. See, I think, oh, because it'd be hard because that comes with check. Okay, so he had to avoid the check. That's, never mind. He had to play the king at h8. Whew. Really fun. Okay, so I'm trying to find another defense for him, but it's really hard for me to find another defense for him. I don't see. I mean, this is the only move that tries to get some material back. But even that might not even work there. Even if I didn't have this move, something like that defends the bishop, and then he still has those two pieces to figure out. Well, I think I got some revenge on my game because I got rid of that bishop that was problematic, and this actually caused him some problem that was causing me problems earlier. Now it causes his problems with that. So that's kind of interesting switch with the pieces. Pieces that were problematic for me are now problematic for him. And he is taking time on his clock because I think he is trying to find a solution to this with all of its complications. And I might be missing something, but I'm not finding a good solution for him. Not after this. I mean, if he goes here and I go here, I mean, I'm threatening checkmate if he doesn't keep that protected, and I'm threatening the knight and the queen, and let's see, I go here, he goes here, I think he can go here, which still defends the knight. Maybe that's his solution. But then, do I have rook here attacking the queen with the threat of checkmate? And even if he goes back here, it's not. Okay, maybe that's it. Maybe that's how I can defend. I can take care of that. Maybe. Or if I go here, okay, so here, here, if he goes here, I don't have the rook to harass him. Ooh, that might actually stop that. Because check, he comes back with the queen, that doesn't do anything. Okay, so now I'm on the clock. And I just found a way for him to solve his problems. So I'm going here, he goes here. I take, he can't take because of checkmate. Okay. So maybe I'm okay with that. Oh, I gotta make sure I'm not missing something here. So I go here. If he goes here, I can take, because if he takes my queen, I go here and it's checkmate, game over. I'm good with that. So if I go here, he goes here. Again, I take. So I go here. He goes here, offering to trade queens. I still take, and that'll be mate. Yeah, he can't do that because that's pinned. Cool. Okay. If I go here, threatening the queen, he moves his rook. Threatening my queen, doesn't matter because I'm going to capture and it'll be mate again. This move has to work. I don't see how he gets out of it. If he can show me what I'm missing, man, because I can't see it. I don't see it. This knight is actually what's holding me together because it threatens that mate. This being a mate threat is what's giving me all the tactical solutions here. Comes here, I go here, I'm threatening the queen, I'm also threatening the rook too. Wow, that's, and pawn there doesn't solve anything for the same reason. Okay, he does go here. Alright, so he's giving up the piece, and I'm threatening that, and I'm still threatening checkmate. So why don't I do that? Right? What am I think I just win a free piece. Okay. Okay, so queen's protecting this. Queen's protecting here. If I go here, I'm threatening checkmate. How does he stop it? Puts his rook up here. Can also put his king up. Which may make even more sense for him. If I go here, I'm threatening to fork. Which also might work. Alright. Rook here attacks the queen, which is overloaded. But captures, captures, captures. Still doesn't look good for him because I win the knight. If I go here, he goes here. takes threat mate. I think getting the rook into the game makes sense. And again, it's what are you going to do? Because I still am threatening this checkmate. Man, chess is just such a wild game, you know. You get to a position, you think your position's all falling apart, and then just something changes, and it changes the game completely. It's wild how that happens. Absolutely wild. I don't think he has a way to solve this that I can see. He has to defend this pawn, and there's no way to still defend this pawn. Oh, no, it doesn't, because this doesn't work. So yeah, I don't see a way for him to solve this. See if he can find something that I missed. And this doesn't work for him really at all. I mean, he can capture here, and then I have to capture back, and then he takes here, but then I just come back here with check, and it's a queen and rook, and it's gonna, I'll be fine. That won't work for him. Okay, but that doesn't solve his problem. So he's still not seeing mate. I'm going to capture the queen. If he captures back here, I'm going to go here. Queen, that just doesn't work tactically. I'm threatening mate. All right, game over. All right, well, that was a good game there. Tell him good game. Wow. All right, so let's go to the analysis board and see how everyone did. All right, looks like I didn't do too bad. Had one mistake, obviously before, that was a mistake, having an accuracy, but overall, I think I played pretty good. This computer's saying I'm playing decently. And I can see the chat here too. So yeah, what a wild game. What a wild game. I need to go back. I want to see how this played. Did we B4 was just a miss. That has to have given him an advantage. I mean, he's looking good. Knight comes here. Oh, see, it's like I had to take that pawn. Okay. Had to take that pawn. Totally missed it. And then, ouch. Oh, actually, you know what? It doesn't even give him that much of a disadvantage. Or much of an advantage. I thought it was a lot worse than it was. But it's just slightly better. Wow. Okay, and then I had the big miss here. Okay, so this was actually a mistake. That was an accuracy. This is... Alright, what was I supposed to play? Oh, just supposed to break the pin out. Okay. So, overall, a pretty good game. For round one, what an interesting play. Oh, wow, mistake there for him. Yeah. Oh, huge blunder. That was a big blunder for him. Okay, so that swung it back in my favor. Well, after we figured out what else would happen, yeah, this was a good... I mean, I just started... Just got a huge advantage. Yeah. What a game. What a game, guys. Just shows you that anything can happen in the game, even when you think you're just down. Really good. Okay, I'm going to end this stream here. It's great, guys. Good first round. Luck for me was on my side. The odds were in my favor, it looks like. And I think that gave our team a match win. So I think we win the first round without even all the games being played yet. So good game for the team. And good first round for me. Let's see if I can improve on it the coming rounds here. So thanks for watching all you guys did, and we'll see you later.